Welcome everybody. Real quick, let's just go through the motions, make sure that we're all set up correctly before we move on from there. First of all, let's make sure that this audio sounds pretty good, and then we move on. So real quick, let me pull up the chat. That's better. Welcome everybody to Digital Asset News. Take the top stories in cryptocurrency and digital assets and break them down to bite-sized pieces. Today, be some pretty interesting stuff. But before we get on and move on to what's going on with Cardano, signing a massive contract with the country of Ethiopia, let me just ask you a quick question. First of all, the audio, let's make sure that's good. And the video, is there any crackles or anything that's happening that will make it very glitchy and unwatchable? That's important. I don't want to come into this these live streams ever and just believe that everything's perfect. So we'll go from there. Let's take a look here. DeFi Ivan, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see how this works out. And so far so good. Let me just do some quick run-throughs of what actually is going on here. Excellent connection, can't beat that. Let me pop this out so I can actually see it. And before we get started, the big thing today is about Cardano and what is going on in the country of Africa. I think it's going to be pretty interesting and exciting, not this month, but moving on going forward. And we'll talk about what's going on top of the fact that, you know, Tesla just sold a little bit of Bitcoin, which we talked about last night, and only sold 10%, which was pretty interesting. And see where it goes from there. But, unbelievable. All right, well, here we go. Let's just break right in, shall we? Let me drop this so. Unbelievable. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, Crypto Life, GDZ, Murphy, and everybody else there. I find that not too bad. Okay. So this is what I think is the big story of the day. Let me pop this out. So, first up, and we'll go over everything in detail first. So, Cardano developer IOHK announces world's biggest blockchain deployment in Ethiopia. And if you're ever looking at what is going on as far as like the cryptocurrency space, you're always looking for utility. And this definitely is a step in the right direction for Cardano. On top of that, we're going to take a look at the CEO of PayPal, Dan Schulman, talks about how the demand for PayPal's crypto offering blows past expectations. And it's just an interesting telling story about really what's happening, not just what's going on now, but what's going to happen in the near to long-term future, looking 10 years. And I can just tell you right now, we are in the right place at the right time, especially for this year. On top of that, we'll address the issue that Tesla sold a little bit of Bitcoin, which I don't think is really the big deal. People making much more of it what it is. But I think there's a story behind the story, and we'll take a look at that in a second. And then just for funsies, let me take a look at the rumor mill, which is that Facebook may talk about how it has been holding Bitcoin. Now, these are just rumors. It's just for fun. I don't know if this is actually happening. I just heard a rumor about a month ago that Walmart had bought Bitcoin. That turned out to be a big nothingness. So we'll just take a look, and who knows? Maybe it is. Anyhow, we'll take a look at all that. But first, let's take a look at what's going on into the market. So today it is April 27th. Almost 11 a.m. here in Texas, and what a turnaround, right? I mean, we went from roughly 1.8 trillion just 3 or 4 days ago to almost 2.1 trillion. So we added a good 200 billion into the market cap. So if you were one of those people who, you know, probably thought to yourself, this might be a good opportunity to add up my bags and buy the dip, congratulations. You're way ahead of a lot of people. And that's exactly what happened. So yeah, great, 2.08. Now, Trade the chain, all the things that I talk about. There's a link in the description. It's all about sentiment analysis. I think that what moves the market is you can look at the technicals. That will definitely help you. You can also look at the sentiment as far as like what the news is. You put them together. It's pretty much a recipe for success. And here's what we got as far as what is going on with the coins and how things are actually moving up. So Bitcoin up 2% in 24 hours, almost at 55,000. Ethereum is really blasting off. 2,600, and it's up 21% in 7 days. So congratulations, Ethereum holders. This is really paying off pretty well for you. Binance Coin is firmly in that third spot, up 6% or 4% in the last 24 hours at 561. I think it'll hit to, definitely in the next couple months, $1,000. Binance Coin is just making moves that really makes it a really utility wise token. I think people are going to load up on that. XRP, watch out, $1.39. I think once they get past this SEC thing, I think things should just blow up. And Tether, Cardano. And this is what's interesting about Cardano. In the last hour, it's down like 0.5%. It's up 8% for 7 days and 5% for 24 hours. But this news that we're going to take a look at, let's just take a look at that now. To get a contract with a pretty large country, that is pretty amazing. And I think when people always talk to me about Cardano, because I did this lovely video about a couple months ago where I said Ethereum is a dumpster fire. Ethereum is a dumpster fire. And I know right now you're probably screaming at the screen going, how dare you talk about Ethereum like that? It's just awful. I didn't say that. That was just the news. That was actually from my man Charles Hoskinson over there. Call it a dumpster fire. Hey, and we just took a look at why that could be and fees and whatnot. And of course, yes, everybody's correct. Layer 2 solutions are coming. They're here right now. You got a lot of different options, and it could bring the gas fees down. But right now, gas fees are still pretty high. So when I talk about things like Cardano, people will always say, well, who's building on it? What's really going on? And does it have any utility? Well, here's your answer. And we'll take a look at that. But first, let me jump back real quick. Morning, Ada on PayPal. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but that's wishful thinking. Hope that actually happens. Hi, Mom. You're good, mate. Ada, country of Africa. First of all, audio's okay, video's okay. I guess if there's a problem, everybody would tell me because it would be there in the chats. So, all right, let me jump back here. So what's going on here? So this was just released a couple hours ago or so. And here's what's going on. IOHK announced a new partnership with the government of Ethiopia. It's focusing on digitalizing the country's education system. So at first glance, you're like, all right, but just wait. The Atala Prism decentralized identity solution will be used for recording and monitoring the grades of 5 million local students across 3,500 schools. The main aim of the initiative is to reduce bogus university applications and make it possible to check the validity of students' grades without relying on the assistance of third parties. That's a big thing, right? That is the whole point of what cryptocurrency was designed to do, blockchain. It was supposed to eliminate the middleman. Here's a great example for it. Now, to me, when I think about, well, how can people, fake their diplomas or fake their education? It happens all the time. You can go to a lot of different websites and you can just pick yourself up a nice fat degree from pretty much any university you want and just pay a little bit, and that's pretty much it. And you've seen even coaches go through scandals where they say that they graduate from some Ivy League school and off they go and they get caught. It's kind of stupid. So if you have it on the blockchain, immutable, can't change it, and then you have all the different records of millions of people on there, well, first of all, you do a couple things. It assures the success of people who actually have earned their way to get that job. This would be pretty big, especially in Africa. And then the second thing, I think it would be great just to have that information right there at the drop of a hat. And you actually are eliminating a middleman, because usually what would happen is if you wanted to verify something and to keep all these records, I guess you'd call the school, but there's also third parties that would do these types of things, which I guess could be pretty expensive. So this is what Cardano said is, hey, we're going to help you out with this. We're going to make this actually run and use and have a use case, and off we go. So there's not just that, though. I thought this was interesting. So IOHK's John O'Connor claims that Cardano is now mature enough to serve an entire nation. Let me read that again. I think that's big. Cardano is right now mature enough to serve an entire nation, and then it doesn't just stop there. This is just one of the first parts. And if you've been following the channel, you know that we talked about there's going to be a conference, Africa Special, 29th of April, so in a couple of days. They'll probably announce some more big things there, and I think this could just be a winner overall. And I think that, I mean, if you have something like this and you're working with nations and you're signing contracts with entire nations to do things, I mean, where does it all end? Could be a lot of utility, and with utility brings price. So that's just how I see it. Anyhow, it states here, Ethiopia's blockchain-based education transformation is a key milestone in IOHK's mission to provide economic identities and employment, social and financial services for the digitally excluded. After 5 years of research and development, Cardano is now mature enough to underpin a blockchain solution, serve an entire nation. And then this is just the start. So when I read this, I'm like, well, that's nice. You know, it's nice so we can do that. Cardano can get in there and actually have a real use case and actually, you know, do things. And I know when people say, well, who's building on it? Who, you know, what's really happening? Remember, for the Alonzo upgrade, we're talking about that in, I want to say, middle of August. Beginning of August, middle of August. So that's when smart contract functionality really comes into Cardano. So when that happens, I think everything explodes. But here we have another use case, starting with education. And they state that, hey, they're going to continue working with Ethiopian government to transform other sectors, agriculture to healthcare, ultimately help the poverty-stricken country to achieve lower middle-class status by 2025, which I think is great because if you take a look at Ethiopia, as far as like population is concerned, 144 million. And that's just the start for the nation of Africa, and then also the different countries contained within there. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. I think this could be pretty enormous. And also, if you haven't known, as I talk about this all the time, but this thing's spinning above my head, this danteachescrypto.com, it's 100% free website. When you go there, and you can find all the different information, where it says, let me go home to the home screen. You can actually stake Cardano with the DNews staking pool and find out essentially what it's all about. We're running between, the industry average is around 4 to 6%. Some months, 5.25, some months 4.9, 4.8, just varies from here to here. So when you go there, just click on the staking pool, and this screen will give you all the information, everything that's public. You can take a look and just break it all down with this little video of how to actually stake your Cardano. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Your Cardano never leaves its wallet. It's all right there. And then we keep up 24/7 using Microsoft Azure network. All right. So that is the last piece to that. Let's move on to something about the future. PayPal CEO talking about cryptocurrency offerings. Let me jump back real quick. See where we are here. All right, what do we have? Greeting from Belgium. Token utility and Voyager will now fly. Patience is key. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Voyager. I mean, look, once that token swap comes about, I think getting in May, mid-May, then I think everything should work out. And if you listen to the CEO, he's come on the show a couple times, Steve, he says, give me 120 days. And around that same time is when the 120 days is up. And I think they're training everybody as far as customer service. I know people have had issues with that, but hey, when you grow from a couple 100,000 to a couple million, it puts a strain on the operation. And I think they can actually do it. Cardano Sun, that's right. Good morning. Good morning. Dave says, Charles just ended. You will have to wow me now. If you wanted the real scoop, go listen to Charles Hodson. He's got a lot better information than me. I think he knows a little bit more about what's going on at Cardano, and that's what's going on. Cheers from Toronto. John Connor, keeping him safe. Belgium. From the UK. Ada and Cody. And then, where are we here? So yeah, I don't know what is essentially going to do as far as a price action or a price prediction for Cardano. I personally, I have Cardano reaching $3 by the end of the year. Now, could that actually happen? Sure. I mean, it could happen. It could go up to $5, but I try to be conservative. And I will tell you this, my price prediction video that I just put out, it was actually so conservative that I need to actually redo it and take a look at what's happening as far as to actually increase the price prediction. I know here on YouTube, you got a lot of people who say, it's going here, it's going to go there, or this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But in reality, people have no idea where things are going. So I just try to do as conservative as I possibly can. And then from there, off we go. So let's see here. All right. Whatever. So PayPal. The great thing about these big companies is that they have a lot of analytics and data to take a look at, and they kind of are spot on about what is going to happen in the market. And I find it pretty interesting that Dan Schulman from PayPal, they drastically underestimated the wave of excitement and people that were coming in for crypto into PayPal. So here's what's going on. They said it was multifold to what they initially expected. And this was, to me, I thought, they would just do a couple of years and then kind of get into it. But the CEO says that PayPal's been watching crypto for 6 years. Imagine 6 years just sitting on the sidelines and just thinking to yourself, maybe we should get into that. Maybe we should get into that. And then after so much time, you're like, all right, let's do it. And the question to me was, well, why did you have to wait so long before you got into it? And it really comes down to regulation. And it states here, what we really want to do is make sure that it became a little more mainstream so that we would work hand in hand with regulators before we put anything out into the market. So I know that people, they bash regulation and they say that, hey, cryptocurrency is here to be void of any regulation whatsoever. We can police ourselves. True. It is supposed to be decentralized. Very, very true. And there should be no regulation whatsoever. And we should just let it, let the chips fall where they may. Well, in theory, that sounds pretty good. That's fine. You can do that. But there's always going to be some little cracks here and there. There's always going to be people taking care or, really abusing the system. And of course, those people will get weeded out. But let me ask you this. How many times have you heard about exchanges shutting down, people getting their rug pulled, people losing a ton of money? I mean, heck, in Turkey, we just had the second cryptocurrency exchange fold. One was because of, I don't know if it was mismanagement or something else, but the other one was just straight fraud. And that's happening rampantly across the entire specter. So again, I'm okay with a little regulation. Like you can put some speed limits up in the school zone, 20 miles per hour. I think that's reasonable, right? But if you want me to drive on the highway going 5 miles per hour, that's a little ridiculous. So little regulation goes a heck of a long way. Hopefully governments will get it right, but we will see. And it just goes to show you that once regulation is in, and especially with what's going on in Congress here in the United States, once this actually gets clarity, I think it'll go, cryptocurrency market should just absolutely explode, and we'll see. Anyhow, last two parts was interesting because here's where I'm going to differ with you on another thing. It says here, cash will end its reign. And Schulman predicts that significant changes will occur within the next 10 years in the financial system, which he believes is inefficient as of today. And that's totally true. I mean, it's just the banking system's awful. If you cash a check, it can take 3 days for you to get your money. If you do an international remittance, it can take 7 days to get your money. Or in some platforms, maybe 10 business days. The PayPal boss expects up to 10 super apps to dominate payments, cash seeing tremendous decline. And that's the thing. I know on this one, people say cash is trash. And they say, you should, cash is just awful. You shouldn't use cash. And you should just put everything into cryptocurrency. Let me tell you something. About cash. And I'm going to differ from probably everybody out there right now. Cash is great for anonymity. I know people are like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Look, If you want to transfer Bitcoin to one person to another, it's in an open ledger. I mean, we can track pretty much everything. I mean, you can put it through a mixer and you can do those, you know, those shady types of things. You can use Monero. You can use a privacy coin. That is very true. Zcash, whatever else. But with cash, and not like large amounts, like you can't just go, hey, I'm going to pay you $1 million tomorrow. Let me just take it out of the bank. It doesn't work like that. But for like small transactions and things like that, it's very anonymous. You can just use it, then off you go. And people say, but it's trash. You shouldn't really hold into it. Look, until I can pay all my bills in crypto, then I'll keep using cash for a little bit. I have put a ton of cash into crypto. As you know, I've been in this area since 2017, and I've been dollar cost averaging ever since, all the way up to today. So, you know, I'm pretty cash poor, crypto heavy right now. But as time goes on, I might have to actually rebalance some things because it's just a smart thing to do at some point. And that's just how I see it. But again, I think cash, if for anonymous transactions in some way, shape, or form, I still like it, and very hard to track a little bit of cash here and there. And we'll see how things goes. And then to finish up, he predicts that credit cards will ultimately go away with mobile phones replacing credit cards. And I think it's already there, right? I mean, you can take your phone, you can swipe it anywhere, you can just tap it and then off you go. But as far as credit cards, I think that would be interesting to get a line of credit onto your phone, as opposed to just syncing up your debit card and going that way. So I think, again, when he talks about going 10 years out, I think we're in the right place at the right time. Anyhow, let me know what you think in the comments section, and let's move on to our next piece. Let's see where it's an inversion table. It's right there. It's somewhere over there. Yeah, inversion table. Lucas Bradley, thanks for sending me a message back. I appreciate it. Yeah, we need to talk. Hey, can I get some tomato coin? Oh, speaking of which, when I talked about the Cardano staking pool over at danlikes.crypto, you can find this 100% free website. I made it. And the reason why I made danlikes.crypto, it's pretty much everything you really want to know about cryptocurrency. I mean, not everything, but just to get the basics down. I made it because some people don't have a lot of money, you know? I mean, even America, let's be honest, there's people that are struggling. So, like, if I want people to learn about cryptocurrency, and just like we talked about Ethiopia, like, why would I want people to pay me X amount of dollars just to learn some things about crypto? You can find that. So I just put it all together and make it easy over here on the website. So, you know, Africa and India, and even parts of Europe. I mean, what's the whole point? But if you go there, you can find the Cardano staking pool. And what's great about it is I'll be doing airdrops of the digital asset news Tomato Coin. and to answer your question, what does Tomato Coin do? It does absolutely nothing. And that's it. Nothing at all. I mean, you can tip with it, I suppose. Maybe it'll be the next Dogecoin. I don't know. But I probably won't be owning any of it. I just want to give it away. All right. Greetings from Ireland. Start with ETH, looking at DOT. I got some DOT. PayPal's going to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, sure. Heinz will go after Dan to kill Tomato Coin. Well, I mean, the governance token is by Olive Garden, so you know that's what's going on. All right, then. So let's break into this next one, which I think is pretty interesting. I just want to follow up. So last night, me and Alex Mascioli did this show when this story actually broke about Tesla. And everybody's talked about this today. Everybody's talked about it to death. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm just not. But one of these things was, some people were ticked off at Elon for, well, I don't know why they're ticked off at Elon. He's not the entire corporation. He's just a big, huge part of it. He's just, as far as Tesla goes. And he said, hey, I think this was Dave Portnoy, Barstool Sports. He's like, hey, how can this guy pump and dump it as far as Bitcoin and get away with it? Elon's like, no. I haven't sold any of my Bitcoin. Tesla sold 10% of its holdings to prove liquidity. I thought that was interesting. I'm like, okay. First of all, I know, Elon probably owns some Bitcoin. I don't know how much it is. I've never heard of that. But everything that I heard about was Tesla is buying Bitcoin. And it's very hard to distinguish between the man that runs the business and the actual business itself. So yeah, Tesla owns $1.5 billion. Elon doesn't own $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. I don't think so, but he doesn't really say how much it is or whatever it is. But yeah, sure, he owns some Bitcoin. Good, great for him. That's fine. But the question, I was like, so they sold 10% just to prove liquidity? That's a heck of an experiment. Just go, hey, let's sell like 270 or how much, what is $1 million, just to prove if we can pull some liquidity out. And it worked out. I mean, it worked out great. So I just thought it was odd just to prove it. And the whole point of this, that when me and Alex were talking about, was that people were always saying, Rob, you don't understand. This bull run is totally different. And no one's ever going to sell because crypto is going to keep going to the moon. And why would any of these institutions sell when they can just take a big loan against it and they can make even more money? I'm like, all right. So the reason why I had Alex on was because, he works with, high net worth individuals and hedge funds and big institutions. And he's like, look, they're going to sell at some point because at some point they want to take profits. We talk about taking profits. So why would we lambaste Tesla or Elon Musk to take profits? Doesn't make any sense. And then another thing that I wanted to address was this article, which we referenced yesterday. And the reason why we know this actually happened was because it was on an earnings call. And of course, since it's a publicly traded company, you have to pretty much give a ton of information away because you are regulated by the SEC. So this was the earnings call. It says, hey, and this was from the CFO, Zachary Kirkhorn. He says, year after year, positive impacts from volume growth, regulatory credit revenue growth, gross margin improvement driven by further production cost reductions, and sale of Bitcoin were a positive, net positive. And those were mainly offset by the negatives, which were lower ASP, increased SBC, sure, additional supply chain cost, R&D, research and development investments, and other items. Model S and Model X changeover costs negatively impacted both gross profit as well as R&D expenses. So in every business, you're going to have an issue with some part of your business going, hey, this is the negative part. This is our losses and this is our profits. And we need to take a little bit and generate some more revenue because our income was lacking on this other side. And that's exactly what they did. So it only makes sense to me that institutions at some point will sell their Bitcoin. Again, if people... Bitcoin's going to go up. Bitcoin's going to go be great. Sure, it's going to be fantastic, right? Everything's going to be fantastic. But at some point, big players are going to take money. And I know people say it's different, but as long as there are greed and as long as there are whales and manipulators out there who do it for their own personal gain or their company's gain, I think there's not going to be much of a difference. There's going to be a bear market at some point. I don't think the bull market's over, but I think things like this are going to be a little bit more common. Do I think like Michael Saylor will sell? Probably not. He's more of like, hey, I do what I do because I run the board. And that's a special case, we'll just say. And so who knows? For all these different companies that are here, MicroStrategy, Tesla, Square, whatever. Marathon Digital, Armara, that's a Bitcoin mining company, so I don't see why they would sell it. They'd probably just take a loan about. Coinbase Global, they do what they do. Galaxy Digital, I think it'd be very, and me and Alex were talking about this, we thought it'd be very odd if Mike Novogratz started just selling off his Bitcoin, like 20%. I'd be like, that's a little funny. And I said, that'd be about as funny as another, figurehead who might sell all their cryptocurrency at the height, Litecoin. And, Bitcoin Group, Hut 8, Voyager Digital, why would they sell? But you got these other institutions. What is this? Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, they're not selling. I think in their chart it says they cannot sell it. ETC Group, Purpose Bitcoin, Bitwise, Grayscale, Wisdom Tree Bitcoin, 9 Point Bitcoin Trust. Yeah, I think Van Eck probably will at some point, just for the bottom line. Anyhow, I'm not going to be that to death. That's what's going on. Let me just think in the comments section. Let's move on to the rumor mill and to finish up. Let me just jump back here. So, real quick. Oh yeah, there's another. Bernard brings it up. He goes, "You're missing the point. USD will hyperinflate." Look, there's inflation. It could hyperinflate. But man, I've been hearing that for a long time. I've been hearing that from everybody under the sun. You don't understand. USD is going to hyperinflate. We're going to have wheelbarrows of cash just like in Germany, and we're gonna have to go in there and take our wheelbarrows of cash to get one loaf of bread. It's just gonna be awful. Look, I'm not saying it's not going to hyperinflate, but I mean, in all honesty, at some point you're gonna need some cash to buy some things, and maybe in the future we won't have cash. Maybe it won't be fiat. Maybe it will be a global currency of tomato coin. I have no idea. But for right now, in the immediate future, I'll just play it a little bit safer, and that's it. Remember, my goals are not your goals. Everybody's got their own goals. Yeah, let's see what else. The Cronkite of crypto. I feel like the Cronkite of crypto. I feel old, that's for sure. Just like Cronkite. And then, yes, I will do an updated version of the of my price prediction. But I'll just tell you right now, it's anybody's guess. I know some people will be very convincing. They'll tell you, oh, I know where it's going. Do you? It's all guesses. It's all guesses. Drug, $100 trillion, $100 trillion for a loaf of bread. Yeah, exactly. So again, in that price prediction. Oh, another thing. People have been asking me a good question. Voyager. They say, hey, you know, I was very hard on Voyager because of what's going on, you know, with customer service, getting everybody to speed. And they go, did you sell your Voyager? No. Do you still think that Voyager is going to be a good buy? Yes. Can you recommend the exchange right now? No, I can't. I can't until they get things up to speed, which they're rapidly approaching, and then I'll recommend them again, right? Do you want me just to lie to you? I can lie to you. I can coax you all day long and just say, oh, it's awesome, it's fantastic, it's great, you should do everything. You can do that, but it's where the whole trust thing comes out. If I see a problem, I report a problem. And I've had Steve on this show many a time. And unfortunately, you know, it kind of hurt to say it, but I'm like, man, I can't recommend your stuff for a while. Just fix everything. He's like, okay. And give me 120 days. 120 days is coming up, and that's it. Once they fix everything, which I'm sure they will, I invest in people, then I'll let everybody know. But that's what I got. But again, I haven't sold any Voyager. Actually, I've actually purchased more Voyager tokens. And what is my price prediction for the end of the year for Voyager? It's minimum $30. That's that. Let's see. BTT price prediction. I don't know. Talk to Mike the investor. That guy's knows. Look, you know who's great? B-Dog, you're not that light. Binance Pay. No, almost 3 use cases can fit in the African. Yeah. USD. Let me show you something. Let me break over here. So, you know, there's a really good comment from Explosive Merc XMC that I just can't put into it. I got to hold that one. Let me see here. That's not it. I did this yesterday with Alex. We were talking about just a ton of just random stuff. And the different YouTubers came up about, you know, who I would watch and where I get my information from and all that stuff. So the question was, what's your price prediction on BTT? And my answer is, I have no idea for BTT. I own a little BTT, and the reason why I own that is because of a couple of people. Let me show you who I'm talking about. So let me get this out of the way real quick. What about Matic? I don't know about Matic. I think that's a second layer solution, right? And I think with Matic, I think you can get like crazy APY over at Celsius and Voyager. I think it's just Celsius right now. So even if you don't believe in the project, I mean, gosh, what, 15%, something crazy like that? 19%, 18% for Matic just to hold? A lot of demand. All right, let me pull this out. So we were talking yesterday about people that I watch, and I'll just tell you again. BTT, I can't cover them all, and I really don't know them all, and I'm not really a good trader. Actually, I'm a really bad trader, and that's why I don't do much trading. That's why I leave it to the smarter people, like the guys over at Market Rebellion and Trade the Chain. But if you want to find out some great information, there's a guy named... Oh, it's not, dang it. Well, that's not right. This is an old one. Hold on real quick. This, let me do this again. And the reason I defer to smarter people, well, first of all, it's not that hard to be smarter than me, but I defer to smarter people because they have better information and they do more research and they know exactly what is happening. There we go. This is a video from a couple of days ago, or from yesterday. And this guy right here, Mike the Investor, Low Cap Gem Finder. And you can find him in the description of all my videos. If you go past all of my links, which, hey, I'm a shill, and it's the truth. Some may say I'm the king of the shills. And you can have all my links here. Here's my free website, Dan Teaches Crypto. Here's the organization that I give micro loans to people throughout the entire globe, called Kiva. And that's what and for our Cardano staking pool, every epoch, every 5 days, we give 100 ADA to different people throughout the globe to help them financially for the unbanked. And then t-shirts and crypto taxes. Oh, if you're going to pay your crypto taxes, use Crypto Trader. I use it. It's fantastic. Market Rebellion. Trade the Chain, that thing that I always use in the very beginning. And then artwork, unstoppable domains. iTRUST, if you don't want to pay taxes on crypto, I would definitely check them out. All right. And past that, shill. Here's my recommendations for YouTube channels. Alex Mascioli. Look, I mean, if you're looking for insider information, that's the guy. Alex Becker, that guy's funny. And he's a smart guy. And he knows he's really come into his own for cryptocurrency. Just, you got to get past that first 3 minutes. And because you think like, this guy's an A. But it's just, he's funny. Coin Bureau, I mean, guy does great stuff as far as like reviews. Hashoshi, that guy's really smart as far as like being a developer. And like when I have questions about, I'm like, Hash, what is really going on with Cardano? And he's like, well, this. I'm like, thanks, good deal. And then Mike the Investor, he's the one that turned me on to BTT. Crazy for Cryptos, Dave, he's the one that turned me on to Theta. So if you say thanks, Rob, for telling me about Theta, you really should be telling Digital Dave. He's the one that told me. And then Crypto Nobs, Downtown Abbey guy, UK, and then Diddy from Bitcoin family. Those are the guys I watch almost every day. And that's the majority. And like I said, not that I don't like your YouTuber. There's a ton of YouTubers. I like a lot of them. I like almost every single YouTuber out there that does it because it's hard to create this content. But those are the guys I watch all the time, and I'll watch other people infrequently. That's it. And let's see. At Lou Ferrigno, can you explain further? Oh, I was like, Lou, the Hulk is here? That's crazy. Shill King. Yes, exactly. And, okay, let's jump back, shall we? Rumor time. And I want to preface this real quick with a disclaimer. Not financial advice, obviously, right? Everybody says that. But these are just for funsies. There is no proof whatsoever. And there's no proof that Bitcoin's going to come out tomorrow and be like, yep, we own Bitcoin, which I think would be great. I mean, it'd be good for it. But in all honesty, it really doesn't matter. Because if you're an investor, like just a straight investor like I am, it doesn't, these little swings and dips and resets and all that stuff, it's who cares? Because I think the majority of the money is made is just buying and holding. That's it. If you're like my man Mullet or CJ over Market Rebellion and Monty and those guys, and you want to be a big trader, be a big trader. I trade like 5% of my portfolio. So it's just easier for me because I have a lot of other stuff to do. But anyhow, this is just a rumor, and here's what's going on. And this is... So one of the partners at Morgan Creek Digital, Jason Williams, and investor Alistair Milne and Mira Cristanto have come up with this theory. The theory is that the current rise of Bitcoin back above the 53,000 level was due to Facebook buying Bitcoin, and the plunge of 48,000 was due to Tesla selling 10% of its holdings. Well, I can see that. I can see that part where Tesla's like, I'm going to sell it. And then, of course, I thought this was funny. Mira Cristanto, she says like this: this is where Elon sold, and this is where Mark Zuckerberg is buying Bitcoin up at fantastic paces. Honestly, I think that in this case, when Bitcoin dipped And this is the weird thing about people always talking about institutions are going to hold on. They are, but at some point they're kind of like, we got to make some profits here too. We got to, I think they're smart enough to realize that if they sell now, there's going to be if you don't like the price, just wait a couple of weeks and it'll change. So they're probably like, we'll sell some Bitcoin here and we'll make some profits, and then it'll go up, and then some crazy story like Kazakhstan comes out and says, hey, we're going to ban Bitcoin, and then it drops 20%. We'll just buy it right back. That's probably what it could be, but maybe Mark Zuckerberg did buy it and went all the way up. I personally believe that whales probably just stepped in. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty good opportunity. I'm going to buy some. And then people like us, like, hey, I'm going to get my beak wet a little bit and just get a little bit of a little piece of that, because I'm just a small guy and I want a little action there. So again, this is just rumors, and I will remind you. The reason why they say it's tomorrow, it's because, the earnings reports are coming out and everything else. So there was this rumor, and there was also a rumor that Walmart had bought a ton of Bitcoin. So if they did, they have to disclose that on their earnings reports, because they are a publicly traded company, and we'll see exactly what it is, and we'll go from there. And that's the big stories for today. Let me jump back. Joel Gonzalez, welcome to level 1. Thanks for signing up. Appreciate it. Kazakhstan. Yakistan. That's right. Hey, everybody's everybody. And look, for all the different, I think there's different YouTubers for different people out there, right? To clarify, I think, for some people, they're really good at generating excitement. So I'm glad that those people are around. And there's some people that are really good at giving sound not financial advice, but sound advice about what's going on in the market and things that are happening. And there's some people that are in between. So I think everybody needs a little bit, different strokes for different folks. So some people like my style, some people can't stand me. That's just how it is. And that's fine. Some people like Guy from Coin Bureau. Some people, like, no, he's not my thing. Alex Mascioli, Alex Becker, and all those guys. So yeah, sure. And then, you know what? I do want to show one last thing. This was actually pretty funny. I just saw this on my Twitter feed. I forgot about this. So if you've been around for a while, you know that banks are very funny. They're not known for innovation. And of course, when you have a big business and you're being threatened by a cryptocurrency that could really just blockbuster you, you get a little defensive. And that's what Jamie Dimon did all the way back. Let me blow this up so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me blow it up even more so you really see it. There we go. This was a nice timeline. I think some people have already seen it, but I thought it was hilarious that, just the timeline of what's going on with different banks. So first of all, this was in November 4th, 2015. He said, hey, virtual currencies will be stopped, which at that point, people were probably like, yeah, that makes sense, because it's crazy. Remember 2015? I mean, this was when, Bitcoin was being used for actual transactions, store of value. What are you talking about? Then fast forward a little bit to 2017, JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud that will eventually blow up. Yeah, okay, I can see that. And then we fast forward even more. Here we are on January 9th, 2018. Jamie Dimon says he regrets calling Bitcoin a fraud and believes in the technology behind it. And that right there, just to stop everything, that's where a lot of places are. They're like, hey, we don't believe in this, in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano or VeChain or Matic or Tomato Coin or what have you. We don't believe in any of that stuff. But blockchain, we like that, and we're going to invest in the blockchain. And you're going to hear that a lot. Actually, you don't hear it as much as you used to. But as far as the last bastion of people actually getting into it, which will be the countries, they're the ones that are like, don't like Bitcoin, really do like this blockchain thing. And then they just keep going. So take a look at this. So then from there, you got moving up to 2020, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is not my cup of tea, even as JPMorgan has warmed to crypto. And I think somewhere in between here, I think they forgot an article, which was JPMorgan said he would fire any of his traders who were dealing in Bitcoin. And that was 2017, so maybe not. And then lastly, here we see the capitulation. JPMorgan says investors could make Bitcoin 1% of portfolios. 1% of portfolios. I just don't. This is the thing. Like, I don't understand why people just can't say that. Like the money managers, the investment advisors, the real ones. You know, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just some guy in a pool house. Why couldn't they have just said, hey, just take your, for your financial assets, enroll 1% into Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, a digital asset? What would that be the harm? And that's why I always get ticked off at these gold bugs who only say that you should only have gold. I'm like, that is so irresponsible. I just don't see how those guys can just sleep at night and just say, hey, you should only have gold at all times, and that's it. Maybe they say some stocks here, but cryptocurrency, I'm like, how do you sleep at night? How do you sleep at night knowing that you just scrod people out of huge gains just because you want to shift them into your ancient world? Look, I own gold and silver. I think they're great. They're a great hedge. But just to say that you should only own that, that's ridiculous. And yeah, so 1%. And then lastly, to finish up, it says here, JPMorgan may offer actively managed Bitcoin fund. And this was just yesterday. So they went, it's kind of funny actually. They went from going to say, hey, you know what? This is nonsense. We can't even deal with this. This is fraud. Then we're like, all right, you see where we're going. Then we're like, you know what? Maybe a little bit. Now they're like, you know what? Come to us because we can help you. So for you out there who are looking to trying to, get your family or your friends or your loved ones into crypto and they just don't get it, just show them this article and just go, look, even one of the biggest banks in the world and their CEO is warming up to Bitcoin on top of the PayPal, on top of the Venmo, on top of the big, large institutions. I mean, heck, even Tesla has it. And, and even like old world institutions like Mass Mutual and Liberty, they're on board. So, and if you're really confused and like, we don't get it, just send them to this website right here, danteachescrypto.com. That'll help and they'll get it. So that is it. That is it for today. So let me see. What? Who? I don't know what you're talking about. There's the name SCHIF. I have no idea what that is. I'd love dual citizenship. Yes. And then one more thing I forgot to mention. A couple of things. First of all, is that I'll be doing the updated video on the move to Puerto Rico and what that all entails, especially with the whole thing with capital gains. And then I'm going to bring on a couple of people from Celsius. And we're going to talk about crypto loans because if you watched the video before, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had a real huge problem with my bank. Had to buy a condo. I didn't have to buy a condo. We bought a condo, and it was for Airbnb purposes over in Puerto Rico. And I couldn't get money out of the bank because banks sometimes suck. Not the people that work at the banks. The people that work at the banks are great, right? The bank infrastructure, the people that set the rules and the standing operating procedures of the bank suck. And I couldn't get any money out. So what did I do? I had to take a loan against my crypto in Celsius. And from the time that I filled out, it wasn't even paperwork, it was on the app. I go, I need X amount. I need 100,000. And I'll put up this amount of crypto. And then they sent me back an email and said, okay, just verify this one thing. And I did. And then I had money in my account. And it was great. And it worked out pretty well. So I'm going to bring some people on from Celsius to talk more about loans, about what that entails, the 1%. And they're also, I hear, and this is actually a legit rumor because I heard from Celsius, they're working on 0% loans. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. Do I want 2 wise, Rob? No, I can barely handle 1. And she's mean. No, I'm just kidding. She keeps me in line. If not, I probably wouldn't be here. Yeah, she does. She's great. That's for sure. So this Peter who? I don't know who that is. Sorry. BlockFi is not a Ponzi. No, it's not a Ponzi. Sure, nothing's a Ponzi. Everything's great. Everything's awesome. Let me pull this up real quick so I can see what I missed out on. Oh, and then, sorry. And yeah, the last thing I've had to say was, the video on Puerto Rico. So we'll be back there in May, and I might even actually do a meetup in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of crypto people in Puerto Rico. I had no idea. And there's a lot of people, there's a lot of crypto underground people that I had no idea, and I'll talk about that later. But they're all pretty much migrating there. And once I get there, we're going to sit down with the lawyers and fill out some paperwork and pay a bunch of money, and then just go from there. So I'm going to bring you from start to finish, how it all works, who to contact. I'm going to give you my real estate agent. I'm going to give you the accountant that I'm going to use, and I'm going to just walk you through the whole process. And you can decide if that's something that you might want to do later on down the road. But I will tell you this, moving to Puerto Rico is not as easy as like, let's just move to Puerto Rico. There's a lot of planning that has to be involved, a lot of things that have to be done, but I think it is for the best in the long run, but I could be wrong. And that's it. So before we take off, let me just move forward. Oh, and then last thing, if you guys could help me out in the comment section, I have 2 channels, Dan Teaches Crypto and Dan Clips. And the Dan Clips, I really need to change that whole format. That whole format is not, it's redundant and it's dumb, which I just be honest. I don't need to do Dan Clips over there. We now have, you know, like little timestamps. It makes it super easy. I don't need to break things up. It's dumb. But I want to keep that channel, and I want to see the ideas of what I want to do with the second channel is to, I just want to keep this as news and inform people, especially just keep it simple, you know, for the people coming into the crypto space, and try to put them in the right direction as far as like avoiding scams and spams and how this all works. But in the second channel, I want to start to do more things with like a review of different projects, and maybe bring on some more interviewers or interviewees of different projects that are out there, and go from there. So if you have any ideas of what to do with Dan Clips, let me know in the comments section, or you can always reach me over on Twitter. Let me bring that up. Here I am. There it is. Twitter handle is @newsasset. Got a whopping 25,000 followers on Twitter. I have a weak Twitter game, but no, I'm just kidding. A lot of things I like Twitter more because I'm more free to express the opinions of what's really going on. In YouTube, you're kind of clamped down a little bit, but yeah, just following over there because I do a bunch of updates about what's going to happen and what's going to definitely do with the channel. So that would really help out. All right. So that's it. So look, hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you like that, please give it a thumbs. Damn, I always forget to say this. Thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff everybody talks about. And that's it for today. We're going to do one more video today later with Alex Mascioli and CJ from Market Rebellion, where we're going to go over top 5, some using trade the chain incentive analysis for trading. So that will be for you traders. We're going to give you the top 5 for the day. And I'll put it out as soon as possible, but I got to record it. All right, but that's it. So thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. And